Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? Because they're fantastic. Listen, Toshi holders, if you guys want more consistent Toshi videos, I will be doing that. As long as you guys show the love, the support, I'll make sure that I cover Toshi as often as possible. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, listen, there were many updates between the 16th and the 17th. We covered three of them, right? We covered this Korean one. We covered these Binance futures. We covered this. And then, ladies and gentlemen, another update came out. I mean, Toshi has been absolutely smashing it. There's no doubt about that. We can see new updates on Toshi Mart, new bonding curve. We have rolled out a fresh curve with a 13x price jump on both Ethereum and Toshi bonding curves. The graduation criteria remain the same, but token distribution is now optimized for a much fairer and stronger outcome. All right, number two, X Live feature builders can go now live on X, link their stream directly to a token. This creates a new way to launch, engage, and build energy around a project in real time. The flywheel just got stronger. So we can see, ladies and gentlemen, absolute W, absolute W. That is what we love to see. And we are going to be discussing pretty much, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding. And this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. Boom. The aftermath of this massive pump. Now, I will say, right, in terms of daily candle closes, we've had the best daily candle close. I mean, since February, since literally the beginning of February. We can see, right, this is where we had a daily candle close. And the context of this was a downtrend, unfortunately, but still, it still remains the same that is the last time we've had a nice big daily close like that. It was pretty much all the way back in the beginning of February. So we count the whole month: February, March, April, May, June, July, August. I mean, 7.5 months ago, practically, since we had the highest daily candle close. So, I mean, that's absolutely fantastic, right? That is absolutely fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we were running out of time when it came to Toshi, right? Toshi had some space. I still had a little bit more space, but overall, it was running out of time. We can see that when we go and look at these trends, right? Toshi had to decide, were we going to go up or were we going to go down? And we can see, right, despite there still being probably a week to week and a half maximum worth of data, we still could have went sideways. We just automatically just smashed through it. Now, like I said, the daily candle has been looking good. The 3-day candle looks even better. This is the best 3-day candle closing we've had literally since these highs. So it's literally a second best candle, second best 3-day candle ever. So it's looking really good, people. I mean, it's looking really good. Obviously, the weekly, there's still a couple of days left. But ladies and gentlemen, I would expect for this weekly candle to still be the second best weekly candle. Because we're not going to beat this in this week. I like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't have hope that there's going to be lots of pumps, but that's okay because the job is already done. The job is finished. We broke out of the zone. Now, the next thing that we're going to be focusing on is practically to retest off of the zone we just broke out of, right? Show some respect, probably show some consolidation before we continue to rally. Now, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super high on Toshi. I literally just spoke about this when it was around 250 million market cap, right? And I said, I believe Toshi will do super well this cycle. Now, in terms of price, I actually don't know what price it's at. Oh my God, 0.0084. So I do believe in terms of price, it's going to do really well. I don't know necessarily if it's going to hit a cent. If you go to something like Toshi, right? I said I believe it could go to 10 billion market cap. 10 billion market cap. at this current moment, let's just say it's a little bit less than a 30x. So a 30x, I mean, that would technically bring it over a cent. That would literally bring it over technically a cent. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do expect that. All right. I do. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you got to remember base is probably going to have a spotlight at one point in the altcoin season. And for me personally, I find Toshi much more appealing than Brett, personally speaking. I feel like there's much more upside in terms of gains. I feel like the project's overall better. Now, that's not me saying Brett is necessarily bad, but I feel like Toshi is just a little bit better in terms of that. And we can see, ladies and gentlemen, we still don't have a Binance listing. I know we have this Binance Alpha thing, but we don't have an official Binance listing, which obviously is going to be something we are looking forward to. And I expect a Binance listing in the future. I really genuinely, there's no reason for it not to get listed on Binance, right? We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that obviously the volume has been dropping, but we had almost 700 million in volume, almost 800 million volume. I mean, it was crazy, right? It was crazy what Toshi did the other day. Okay, so listen, we've seen the volume spikes, and that's without Binance. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this thing is gonna do well. This thing is gonna do well. We talked about accumulating positions ever since, we kind of got to like the 200, 150 million market cap zone. And we can see at this current moment, you would have been up, depending on your position, roughly 2x, right? We talked about buying it down here, and even just in recent times it said how it's like very, very good purchase. So look, I overall am super high on this project. The next step, like I said, is to retest off those trend lines, and then just honestly to go and contest these highs, right? And these highs are roughly a 1 billion market cap. That's like the next big step, because after that, ladies and gentlemen, I expect an expansion. Once we kind of sweep these highs, I would not be surprised if we see some type of expansion. And for me, ladies and gentlemen, since we already beat this high, I probably would expect an expansion upwards of the 2.6 zone, so roughly to 2.4 billion market cap. Before then, we see some type of retracement, correction, go down, and then that's when we're going to have the final rally, right? I believe the final rally could definitely get us over to 10 billion market cap. And let's just do a hypothetical, right? Let's just pretend this did play out, where kind of like we just said, and let's just take these highs over here. So we would take the highs over here, boom, and we would take the lows over here. Let's just say more or less like this. And you know what? Even though Fibonacci tool, it is technically much higher. Even if we did get to something like 3.6 or 4.2, that would still be 6 billion market cap, which obviously, ladies and gentlemen, is still a fantastic return from these areas. So yeah, I am super, super high on this project. And to be honest, I'm actually misdrawing this, because the way it should be done would be on this support, and boom, there we go. So it could even go upwards, like I said, of 7 to 8 billion market cap, just based off the Fibonacci, right? Just based off the Fibonacci. And that's what I would really expect to be getting to the 8 billion, 10 billion, possibly a little bit higher. But of course, at that point, we have to update you guys. You gotta remember, there's a lot of other cryptos and meme coins, but money does cycle at the end of the day. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy it. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.